Hello? Yeah, I got the I got my headphones in. Yeah. Now I can't hear you. All right.
Going on.
Okay. Hello?
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
What's going on? Bernard?
What's up, fam?
What's up, man?
Chilling, chilling. Do I need the headphones or no? Let me see. Hold on.
You can hear you straight. I'm just here.
Yeah, all right, I can hear you back. All right. This camera.
Yo.
Strong echo there.
Yo.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So, where my boy at? I'm sorry, I had to call in for some reason. It wasn't really working like I wanted it to. Go tell him to call back in for me. What's up? You can turn your cameras on now. What's going on, player?
What's good, sir?
What's good? What's good? What's good? So, hold on, my boy done left already. Hold on. You got the wrong idea. I'll see you in. All right. There we go. All right. So, what's up, good people? What's up? What's up? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this is can both of y'all hear me? Say something. I can't hear you. Say something. Let me
I
hear
hear
you.
you. Can everybody hear me?
All right.
Yeah,
You can hear me too?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can't see you though.
All right. So this is in response to last week. I take it both of y'all. I'm pretty sure both of y'all actually saw the interview from last week from the women.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give some men the opportunity to come back and actually address what they said and tell y'all some things about how they feel as well. So y'all just not getting it from my point of view. So how do you say your name? Shafeeq, is it?
That was perfect,
I want to
bro.
make sure.
That's perfect. Most folks don't get it right in the first try.
It's Shafeeq, that's right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the brother at the top. And is it Rashid?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, at the bottom. So these are a couple men that, you know, they know what I'm trying to do in the community and what I'm trying to do with the group that I have and everything. So I just brought them on to give you some enlightenment. To be honest with you, you know, I reached out to a couple people. I wanted some different perspectives. My man Shafeeq at the top, he actually, can you tell us a little bit about actually what you study and everything, so we'll know your background when it comes to this?
Right. So I don't want to take up a lot of time with it. I'm just deep into a lot of the conversations that we tend to have in the men's group that the ladies kind of spoke to. I study gender. I have a strong focus on masculinity, especially Black masculinity. I got to take my comprehensive exams next week. Go ahead and get to the point where I can hopefully be finishing up this PhD. Knock on wood. So I read all the books. I think that gives me a useful perspective because I feel like we are used to hearing from women and Black women who have read all the different feminist texts, from the Bell Hooks and the Audre Lorde and the Pat Hill Collins and a lot of other people I name drop. And not like there were no other Black men in my particular section of the program, nor the heterosexual Black men. And I feel like I want to bring a lot of what is in those books to us because we are not, you know, on some levels, I feel like we're not fairly represented in some of the texts I've read. And in some levels, I think there's so much in those texts that we need to hear. And maybe if we heard it from each other in a different way than sometimes I think we get it from the ladies, that maybe it'll stick better. It also gives me perspectives on just kind of what some of the things the ladies say that I fully get or don't agree with at all. Yeah, so that's my background.
And you know, Rick Sean, I had a well, do you have a nickname or do you want me to call you Rick Sean? What you want me to call you, Phil?
That's my nickname though, Rick Sean. Yeah, that's what I go
Okay,
by.
Rick Sean. Okay, gotcha. So, you know, I had a conversation with you earlier. You had some interesting perspectives as well. So I want to start off with, I'm gonna just ask you, you know, what do you think is it that women misunderstand the most about men?
I think what they misunderstand is they try to assume that they know what we're about already, and they're usually so far off left. You know what I mean? Because they're basing it off of information they've gotten from maybe an uncle or a grandfather, somebody that they actually do confide in that's a male in their family. But outside of that individual, they don't really know men per se to try to generalize us the way they try to generalize us a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, just from your perspective?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think there is a significant overestimation of what women think they understand about Black men. There's so many gaps. Like they get like the greatest hits. They know what they like. You know what I mean? They know what they like. They know what they don't like. But they don't understand like all that in between stuff. And the problem I think comes up is that a lot of us don't understand it either. And they think they know, and we think we know. And it's so it's like the blind leading the blind sometimes. If that makes sense.
So tell me this: when you said that in between, like just give me some examples of. I want some examples of what do you think, you know, that women really misunderstand when it comes to communication. Let's start there, because that's what this whole thing really is about. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be about how we communicate, because I see some people miss some. Like I spoke to both of y'all earlier and told y'all the reason why I actually did it the way I did it last week, and the questions that I knew were going to be missed and what was missed from, you know, the male. So I think communication wise, what do you think? What do you think is the problem? What do you think is the problem from your perspective?
Yeah. For me, I think with communication, I think perfect example, the assumption is that men don't know how to communicate, and that men are not emotional or don't have emotions or whatever stereotypical thing you might say. And the truth is, men are taught from an early age not to communicate, especially on an emotional level. And then we've been taught as we go into adulthood and in relationships that if we do communicate our emotions, that creates vulnerability that nobody seems to know. Like I feel like I've seen on one perfect example. I don't know if y'all watch like Lovecraft Country. Any of y'all seen that show? It's on HBO.
Yeah, that's my.
If you haven't watched, long story short, the main character is a brother on there. This is super strong war hero, fighting monsters, all kinds of shit. But all the memes are about him crying and how emotional he is. Because I think both women and men, they're not really used to seeing Black men speak to their emotions and speak about their emotions, and they tend to reject that. Like that'll get a nigga. What's our language like? That'll get a brother in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And so brothers learn to hide stuff like that. Not that they can't or don't understand it. And some don't because they never learn how to do it, you know? But a lot of dudes know what they feel and they just don't want to say it because they feel like saying it is going to cause more problems, if not now, then later on y'all get into a fight and she'd be like, remember you was crying about this, that, and the third last month? You know, like things like that happen and that's all it takes for something is to shut down permanently.
And like to me, that's like a product of like a stigmatism that was put on us like a long time ago, that when they were trying to dehumanize us as people, you know what I mean? And they try to, and like with the Black man in particular, they try to, you know, dehumanize us like we're not human beings, like we're not like any other man, like we don't have emotions, like we don't feel pain, like we don't, you know what I mean? Like we don't have regret, like we don't have compassion and things like that. So it was like dealing with the world that we live in, unfortunately, is like you were saying earlier, how we get taught and raised from an early age not to show our vulnerabilities because we're under attack all the time, it seems like. You know what I mean? So we have to always guard our emotions and guard ourselves because, you know, out here we don't know who's really for us until we really get to know the person. You know what I mean? Sometimes it can take years. You know, you don't want to put that investment in somebody that's trying to use you, that's trying to burn you.
Yeah. So do you think that leads to, kind of leads to a power struggle when it comes to that kind of thing?
Well, yeah, see, the power struggle, I think, is that actually, to me, in my opinion, like you guys can, you know, can comment too, like tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I felt like the power struggle started when the Black family was like pretty much destroyed. You know what I mean? When the father was removed from the home, because you didn't really have like power struggles with like the Black families from like the 50s, the 40s, and like earlier than that, because the family was a tight-knit family after slavery. You know what I mean? So like roles were already established. You know what I mean? The husband did his job, the wife had her job, the kids did what they were supposed to do. Once that family structure was broken, now you have women growing up only under women, so they have no idea really what a man's supposed to do because they never saw it. All they saw was your mom always in charge, paying the bills, putting food on the table, telling you and your brother what to do. You know what I mean? So as a female, you see your mom telling your brother what to do, so you think that that's how it's supposed to be. Then on the same side, as a young man growing up, you don't have a father either, so you just see a mother. So your mother's always, especially if you had a strong mom, she's always on you and always on you. So when you become a man, you don't want a woman to do the same thing your mom did. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to feel like that feeling you had when as a child, where she's talking at you, not talking to you. So I think that's kind of where when those two people run into each other, that's where you had a power struggle at, because she's trying to be like her mom, he's trying to find a woman that's not like his mom in that way.
So I think there's a lot of validity to what Rashawn just said. I tend to try to stay away from the concept of power and like the way it's been taught to us, because I feel like the way we conceptualize power, even as you talk about the family, right? Like, I agree that the Black family was decimated, you know, post-slavery, Reconstruction, you know what I'm saying, going into the Civil Rights era. But even before that, the concept of how we constructed our families was jacked up when we got here, because we didn't do our families like that back in Africa. We didn't have like it's your role, this my role, whatever. And we didn't even have like this your family, this my family. You know what I'm saying? Things were organic. Whatever the tribe in this area needed, if y'all had a tribe, y'all depended on what was going on with this river, y'all whole family structure might be different than this tribe over here in the savannah. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like we get caught up on trying to reproduce what we saw white people do when they was backing us up. And sometimes, like, I think that's the bigger piece to that puzzle, is like, it ain't even about who in charge of the house. It's about how is the house, what's going to have the house thrive properly. And most of the time, especially in the society we live in right now and the way things work, and just the women tend not to really want, like, women want to be autonomous, but a lot of women want a man that they can be confident in being a caretaker provider with. They want that. And they will easily, if they see that in a man, they'll do whatever it takes to keep that man around. But the reality is that's rare. Like, my wife worked, most of the wives I know work, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like if you're talking about a power dynamic of both people bringing in money, you know, you're creating more opportunity for conflict. And bringing it back to your first question, if y'all not communicating, if a dude can't say to his woman, man, I feel some type of way, you know, that paycheck you bring home is a little bit bigger than mine, I feel some type of way about that. Or, and here's the part that people don't like to hear, when a woman is bringing home a paycheck bigger than her man, and she don't really internalize how that may be affecting how she sees him, because that does happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about, like, men have to feel safe that they can have that conversation. And that takes a lot. And I ain't got no answers to that.
Okay. So now we get into the conversation, because I think, you know, half of the things that I really, really see is men don't feel safe having conversations like that with women no more. Men don't feel safe expressing their vulnerabilities, not to their woman. See, I'm of the belief that, you know, every woman ain't for you, so you're not supposed to express your vulnerabilities to every woman. You know what I'm saying? They say when the man find a wife, he find a good thing. It ain't just say when he find a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we try to make people fit into roles that are supposed to be specifically for somebody that's for you. You know what I mean? So when it comes to men being comfortable with expressing themselves, why do you think? Tell some truth. You know, why are men not comfortable talking to women? You know what I mean?
Don't nobody want to hear that shit. Just keep it in the buck. Don't nobody want no crying ass man. You know what I'm saying? We learned that.
I agree with you on that. I said I'm talking from your point of view. Right. I agree with you on that. Now, see, that we addressed that last week. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, why do you think some of these men aren't comfortable with being vulnerable even with their woman? Because that's what I'm seeing. You know, the stuff that I do is for married men for the most part. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, why aren't married men comfortable with speaking with their women? Why is it such a, you know what I mean? Why do they feel uncomfortable?
I think that falls down to the individual, because it's like,
absolutely. But why do you think, you know what I'm saying, individuals?
Like, my opinion is like if you feel like you can't talk to the woman that you with and tell her how you feel on the inside, why are you even marrying her in the first place? You know what I mean?
I want to get into that too. Why do we think that some of that is? Why do we think that so many people are? Why do we think that so many people are marrying a person that they know that ain't gonna work with? You know what I mean?
I think a lot of times, like, some people get caught up into the physical more so than the mental and the spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why a lot of people make mistakes at. Like how you were talking about earlier. You were talking about, like, you know, a couple women that they've been done dirty. They've been hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that. Like, I understand, you know, that a woman might have been burned a few times by different men or whatever, but at a certain point, you have to take accountability, because why are you keep going down this same road? Like, take your time. What are you rushing for? You know what I mean? Find out who this person is. And a lot of times, to find out who a person is, you just can't be with the person. You got to see who raised the person. You got to see who's around the person, because that'll let you know who that person is. Because they can just show you their representative all the time. But when you meet his mom, or you meet his dad, or you meet whoever the influential person was in his life, you'll see what type of person that person really is, and you can decide at that point if you want to get spiritually and emotionally invested. Because my thing, and that goes, you know, that goes either other way around. Even when you talk about a female, like, you got to look at who her mom is. You know what I mean? Whoever raised her, who was her father, if he was even in the picture. You know what I mean? So you can get an idea of what you're dealing with. Because you should never be that you can't be yourself 100% around. Because what happens, you know, when any guy tell you, like, whatever area that, like, especially if you're talking about, like, you can't express your feelings to her, there'll be some other woman that you'll be able to express your feelings to eventually somewhere, and then that's where the problem comes in. Because now you vocal into this woman, and then it goes from there, and then it grows from that, and that's how you have all these different issues. So it's like,
so I mean, I still want to conquer this question. You know, so why do you think they feel that way, Shafeeq? You know what I mean? Like, why do you think that is such a gap like that? You know what I mean? Like, why do you think that it's?
You talking about?
Because I see more of that than I see healthy communication and healthy relationship.
You talking
about, what
like,
I mean?
The dudes, just women and men just fighting, or you talking about the communication? Like, I lost you for a second. My joint.
What I'm specifically discussing is, why do you think that men don't feel comfortable giving, you know, being, you know, saying what they want to say to their women, and you know what I mean, giving their feelings to their women? Because that's a lot of the stuff that I see. You know what I mean?
Right.
I see a lot of men saying, like you said, you don't want to hear that shit.
Right. So to me, the reality is, and I'm gonna try to be less crass this time around. So
no, speak your mind, brother. Speak your mind. You know what I mean?
Like I remember very vividly the first time I was really got my feelings hurt as a little boy, and somebody said, "Stop crying," right? And like, we don't conceptualize how damaging that can be long term to like a 4-year-old boy who ain't got no concept of nothing. But one of them early concepts he's gonna get is that my emotions are dangerous to my well-being and somebody gonna come through, male or female, and tell me to shut that shit down. And so what do dudes learn how to do? They learn how to shut that shit down. And what does it come through? It comes through liquor, it comes through other women, it comes through all this other self-control. The emotions are still there.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to express them bad boys, because don't nobody want to hear it from us. And that's why I think I'm so happy, like on a lot of levels, I'm happy about some of the things that's going on with men in terms of like the way the world is requiring us to be different. A lot of us don't know how this works yet. We kind of fucked up in the game. But we're going to get there eventually, because the flip side to a lot of the challenges that women and Black women are presenting to men and black men is that as we get better in this space, we're gonna eventually, as we get our shit together, come back and be like, look, so now that we have this understanding about me being respectful to you and understanding the differences between the way the world treats you and the world treats me and da-da-da-da, I need you to also respect the fact that I'm now a full human being with emotions. And you might hurt my feelings. And you might do some shit that makes me upset and I don't want to talk to you. And you can't call me a bitch ass nigga when I do that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to have a real full conversation with me. So it's a set of experiences. Men are not taught to do that. We're not challenged by the world and by other men to get better at it. You know what I'm saying? When I was a young dude and I had an issue with a girl in undergrad or whatever, and I talked to my boys about it, they didn't say go talk to her. They said, let's go hit the club. You know what I'm saying? They said, let's cut on the game. Just fuck all that. Let's do something else. And so like, we have a lot of work to do internally, and that hopefully will eventually turn to external work because we got a lot of work to do.
So let me ask you a question. I know this is something that that a lot of women want to know. Like, what do men really want from women? You know, what are we really looking for women? You know what I mean? In y'all perspective, from my perspective, you know, I think that we looking for somebody to believe in us. We looking for somebody to root us on and always have our back. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, I appreciate when I'm doing something and somebody's complaining about how I can make it better. You know what I mean? And holding me kind of accountable to, you know, when I'm not stepping up to my part of the bargain of what I agreed to do. Now, you know, holding me accountable to stuff that I never said I was going to do. I think that that's a different situation that we need to talk about, because I do believe that a lot of relationships start with, you know, putting somebody in a role that you never gave them a script for. You know what I mean? You dig what I'm saying? Like you literally created an entire role that you wanted somebody else to play, but you never even gave them the script on how you wanted it played or nothing. So if it becomes a thing where nobody knows how to discuss where they are at that point. So, like, what do y'all think that, in your perspective, if we could tell women what we really, really, really want from them, you know, because, you know, we don't really care about the money. I'm gonna be honest with you. A man will give you everything if you women, this game. If a man will give you everything if you celebrate him. The way you make a man outperform himself for you is not to criticize what he do, it's to celebrate what he do. That'll make me want to go to the mountain and to the moon for you if I'm doing something for you and you appreciate it so much. I love to see that look on the face. You know what I mean? When I've accomplished something and then she congratulates. That's how men are driven. So, you know, just realize that either way, just free game. But either way it go. I want to know from y'all perspective, I want them to know, you know, what do men really want from women? I know I gave mine and that might sum it all up, but whatever.
Go ahead, Fee.
I ain't got much, bro, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think different men need different things. Some men don't need to be with women at all. They need to just have a handful of female acquaintances that provide feminine energy to them, you know, because they ain't no good to nobody. Some men need a woman that can really be a partner with them, you know, in whatever way that requires. Some men need a woman to be a muse, you know, to like inspire them, kind of like what you just said, you know, Bernard, like, you know, where it's like having that woman's happiness be the force behind me doing better, you know, for myself. So I feel like if we tried to give a one-size-fits-all thing to the ladies, we'd be doing them a disservice, because the other part of the game is dudes know what the game is and they'll change all the settings. You ever play like Madden with a homeboy and he like, or 2K back in the day, he'll put all the special players on his team. Like you have Barry Sanders on the Bears and shit. Like that's how dudes would do it. So like, I don't want the women to think that there's a key ingredient to it. There's major keys maybe,
So give me some. That's what I want to talk about then.
So one major key is to not project. Understand that a lot of men are walking myths. A lot of us don't understand. And when I say that, I mean like we are all trying to act like what we think a dude is supposed to act like most of the time. It's like natural, but it's not like innate. Like I see brothers do something, it looks like it's supposed to be the thing I'm supposed to do. He got women, he got money, he making women happy. His mama proud of him. All right, let me mimic that. And like that's everybody to an extent. But when you project too much of that on a man, you might miss like real obvious stuff. I got a homegirl who's, who her man ain't dealing with her right, to not get too specific. And she was like, yeah, he ex-military and he did this and he did that and he don't sleep. I'm like, that brother depressed. Like, why you trying, like, of course he ain't gonna do that for you right now. Like, that brother need therapy. Like, why are you, and so like, I think that's what it is. Like, women get caught up on the myth of what men present themselves as. That's not real a lot of the times. And they don't want to see that some of the brothers, we're human and we're flawed, and we got to engage with that before all that other cool stuff that's temporary, and easily dissolve. It'll go away real quick under the right circumstances. So just don't fall in love with the image. I can make up an image. I can give me some, I can lift weights and get some and rent a car. You know what I mean? So that's the best I can do with that one.
Give me your perspective, brother. Yeah.
Man, y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head. Pretty much everything. I mean, only thing I can really add to is like just peace of mind. You know what I mean? Like going outside the home is already a battle every day anyway. So it's like when you come home, you want that place to recharge. You know what I mean? Your woman can be that thing that help you recharge. Like I heard like not to name drop him or anything like that. I heard like Eric Thomas said before, he was like, when you come home, before you come in the house, wash your face. You know what I mean? Like don't bring that energy from outside to your woman. You know what I mean? Come home with a fresh face, with fresh energy, because she'll help you recharge and get yourself where you need to be at. You know what I mean? So it's like if a woman could just do that for a man, everything else just falls into place. All the other extra stuff that you guys were saying, and whatever materialistic thing about cooking and cleaning on, that stuff will just fall in line. But when a man has peace, when he knows when he sees you, he got his peace. He can get his spirits up when he sees you, because no matter what happened at the job or out in the street or whatever, when he sees you, all that just disappears, because he's like, all right, I'm back here, I'm back in my safe space. I feel like that's what we really care about the most. And that's the woman that we always take the most serious. That's when we give everything to. Even to the brothers that might, like you said, might have more than just one woman. That woman that gives them the peace, she probably gets a little more attention than everybody else. She probably gets better treatment than all the other whatever women he's talking to, because that's the person he goes to pretty much like let his hair down, so to speak.
So peace is what he wants. So peace. That's basically the consensus at the end of the day. Peace.
For the most part, I mean, like, don't get peace twisted with
no confrontations.
Yeah. Right?
Right. Like, absolutely.
Like, that's what I mean, because you gotta think about it. Every man individually is different in his own right.
Right.
So for one guy might be coming home, everything's legit, everything's straight. They sitting down watching TV together, chilling. Another dude might be a smoker. He come home, she got the joint already rolled up, their favorite papers, whatever. They got their favorite drink out, and they kicking it that way. You know what I mean? Somebody else, maybe the other guy likes to have conversations with his wife about serious things or political things, and they get to the crib, she's like, yo, babe, you see what happened on TV with Trump and da-da-da-da. That's his piece with that woman. At the end of the day, every person is different, but if that woman knows her man, she knows how to bring that to the table, whatever it is.
So you think, do you, go ahead.
The only thing I want to add to that is, like, just understand you can't be peace to every dude.
Yeah.
Some dudes are so at war, you got to let that battle play out, because,
like that brother shouldn't even be in a relationship when he got that many scars. He got to heal himself first.
Right, dudes.
Heal himself first.
I think that go for women too, though. You know what I mean? You know, it go for women too. You know, I wanna. We gotta be equal. So you know, it go for women too. I really do want to address, you know, some things that I know that y'all really disagreed with last week. With what's up, Gwen? How you doing? So I know the whole issue with money thing kind of you know, kind of grind people's gears with that. So like, I guess just in response to what you heard from her, what would you have to tell her as far as her mentality when it comes to man, I'm gonna go with you, Shafeeq, at the top first.
I don't, you know what? I missed that part of the conversation about money.
No. So who was I talking to with it earlier? That was you, Rashid?
Yeah.
So tell me.
Like my thing is, like, at the end of the day, if you making more money than I'm making, if we a couple, we a group, it's our money anyway. Whatever money she's making, whatever money I'm making, that's our money. So why are we even looking at it like you make more than me or I make more than you? And it's like, if I have to bring money to the table to even be in a relationship with you, what else are you bringing to the table? You know what I mean? Because we have to be equally yoked at a certain point. And it's like, the whole point is, when we get with each other, we're supposed to grow, because we're not at our highest level yet when we first meet each other. We're supposed to grow together. So it's like, whatever you bring, it's like, you might be better with finances than me, but me being around you is gonna make me get better with my finances. So now I'm growing. You know what I mean? Like, I might be a better communicator than you, but now that you're around me, you feel more comfortable to talk and communicate. And then you take that outside the house and you get better, whatever you do with your job, talking to people. It's like, the whole thing is like, women, like, a lot of women sometimes, like, it's almost like a level of arrogance when they get into these topics about what they don't like about men and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, at the end of the day, you have to look at the landscape for one. Look at the landscape. You know what I mean? Me and you were talking about this, Bernard, earlier, about, like, you know, there's more women than men out here, for one. You know what I mean? So you already competing with just other women in general because it's not that many men. Top it off, the type of man that you want is probably the man that every woman wants. You know what I mean? So it's like, so now you're really narrowing your box down to, and you have the right to do so. But my thing is, if that's what you want from a man, you have to make sure that you're what he wants too, because he has a lot of choices. He has a lot of options. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like the thing that doesn't get talked about that much is time. Like, men, we have, you know, a lot of time to try to get this right. Women, not so much, depending on if they trying to start a family. You know what I mean? During the clock, if they're trying to start a family to a certain degree. Now, if you're really care about kids, then fine. And you pretty much right there with us. You can take as long as you want if you don't care about kids. But if you have kids or you want to have kids, she's on a time limit. You know what I mean? So it's like, a man could be a bum in his 20s. He could be struggling in his 30s. He could figure it out in his 40s and still find himself
a right family at 51.
And get with
a 28-year-old.
Yeah. If a woman did the same thing, by the time she's 40, I don't know if she's going to find a mate. I don't know if she's going to find a mate. She could have it all. But at the end of the day, it could be a woman that's 10 years younger than her that got it all too. What is a man naturally going to do? That's the same age as her. What is he naturally going to do most of the time? You know what I mean? Like, so, like, women have to understand that, like, I understand that you are a gift. You are a blessing from God, but we're a gift as well to you, because we go hand in hand with each other. It's not like I'm gonna put you on a pedestal, but I'm not gonna look up at the pedestal. Like, I'm gonna look right at you, because we're on the same level. You know what I mean? I think women have to understand that. Like, and if you want certain things from a man, then that's what you want. But don't meet the guy and then realize he doesn't have it and then try to bring him up into it. You know what I mean? Let him naturally do that himself. Like, a man doesn't need somebody to fix him. Like we're not Legos. You don't just put us together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen, y'all probably seen these posts where it's like, this woman, like, it's her wedding picture, and it's like, when I met him, he was homeless and on drugs. He slept in a doghouse, and he had one foot. And then I gave him a job and gave him a bath. and 4 years later, he proposed. And I'm like, all right, sis, that's how you get down. Like, if you have infinite patience and resources to build a nigga from the ground up, do you? But if you don't, get like a screener. You know what I mean? Like not like for real screener, but like recognize the way to reduce conflict is to not put two polar things that are not polarly. I'm fucking up that metaphor. It's to put things together that don't belong together. It's to be like, I want this, 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 and this in a man. And this dude don't got none of that, or he got one of those. And all right, so I'm a build him from scratch out of that. That's a bad move. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude is not like, and I feel like that should be known, but like it don't be. And maybe it's that, you know, some women when they're younger, they do that once and then they frustrated about it later on in life and they take it out on the wrong person. I don't know what to call it, but I just know that if a man don't got his shit together before he meets you and he don't get it together real quick, if he get with you, then it's ain't nothing you can do about that. And so you got to either let him slide or like resign yourself to that being the reality. The advice I get to everybody getting married is that people don't suck on purpose, right? When your spouse, whatever your spouse is bad at when you met her, she gonna be bad at when y'all get engaged, and she gonna be bad at when y'all have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like those things are not her strong point. Resign yourself to that and learn to love him through that. When you have conflict, or at least communicate when things, as people change, and then communicate when things really get out of hand. So going back to the whole thing about money, like if a dude ain't bringing to the table the zeros you need, then you got to clear that table. Like, you know, don't browbeat them unless you got a plan and like some action steps with it, and you got true buy-in from this dude to get him to that spot. And that's still a risk. Otherwise, like, you gotta let that dude ride. I'm sorry, ladies, if you feel like it's not enough good men with good dollar signs behind their names in the game right now. I don't control that. That's white supremacy. You know what I mean? Like help. You know, we gonna get there eventually. So like, do what you can, but don't fuck up and try to raise a nigga from the ground.
But here's the thing, like, how come nobody ever says to the woman, like, all right, if you want the good-looking guy with all the money and the you know the great career job and all the access and everything, what are you doing to raise your level so you can get his attention? You know what I'm saying? Like because you can't be whatever version of yourself that you are and think you want, you know, quote unquote LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I'm pretty sure every team in the league would want LeBron James, but you saw who got him because they had a history of doing things a certain way to get his attention. So it was like back to like I was saying, like it's too many other women out here you got to compete with. So you just can't wake up every day and just walk out the house like, all right, it is what it is. I gotta find a man I want to find, and that's all it is to it. No, you gotta look at the landscape. Who are you competing against? Because the man you want, all these other women want, and you gotta start looking at these other women like, what can I do better than her to make sure that he peeps me before he peeps her, and he looks at her and says, nah, and looks at me and says, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think women think about that. They look at it as, you know, because like you said earlier, like Bernard, like, you know, when a man find a woman, he find a good thing. I think women take that literally like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here, be myself, and then he's just gonna find me and everything gonna work. Nah, that's not how it is. Like, nah, you like
so I don't know. I feel like that's halfway true. Like I feel like women know that, but just like we don't have the language sometimes to talk about our emotions effectively, you got to think like women are only up until 70 years ago, the only thing a woman could do for her like future was marry the best dude she could. Like that's like being able to get a job and like get money without a dude, that's like 50, 60 years old at well shit, that's like 30 years old, be real. To be like on a level where you don't need a dude at all. So it's like that language ain't quite there yet. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a mixture of, because a lot of those women that are out there getting money and doing the most still want that guy, that amazing dude. And so I try not to, because then we just get into beef and antagonism with the ladies. because there's just so many things different about our experiences. I try not to spend too much time on that because that makes sense, right? It makes sense. Like, look, LeBron James married, like people think there's trophy wives. That's a myth. There's literally no trophy wives. People marry women, dudes marry women, and women marry dudes at their same level. Dudes that are doctors marry other doctors, dudes that are models marry other models, yada, yada, yada. And so, like, you know, if that ain't where you at, like, you gotta know that. And so women maybe don't speak to it because speaking to that, that's just not part of the vocabulary right now. And maybe that's something that changes in the future. And I try not to tell them because I'm not trying to get, I'm not trying to get cursed out. I know.
No, but yo,
No,
like,
no. I want you to get cursed out. I ain't gonna lie. I want you to get cursed out. But
I'm gonna let somebody else do that.
So let me ask you a question. So because a lot of the conversation that I get, especially from men, is that, you know, women are you know, they demanding. You know what I mean? Like you said, you know, if you on this level, they got to be on a certain level. So the thing is, what I see a lot is that tell me if I'm wrong or not, you know what I mean? But a lot of men think that women demand higher than they actually are. I wouldn't say work, but you know what I mean? They demand a man with all of this stature, and they might not have it. So men feel like it's a kind of imbalance where, you know what I mean, y'all want all of this and y'all think y'all can demand all of this from us, you know what I mean? But many of y'all ain't on the level that y'all demanding.
yeah, like what you said.
You know what I mean?
And you want an A+ dude.
So let me. So in that context. So even for the women who actually have money, you know what I mean, and you know they doing their own thing, does money really impress you as a man when it comes to woman? Does her stature and what she does that really impress you? What impresses you about women? You know what I mean? Like, what really impresses you about them? Characteristics, you know, what characteristics of women? That's what I should say. You know what I mean? Like, what characteristics in women impresses you, and which characteristics are really kind of a turnoff? Like, what's a turnoff?
I'm gonna let Rashid go with that one first.
Yeah, think a little bit on it.
Yeah, I mean, if I gotta break it down in I guess certain sectors, is like you know, the first thing you see is the physical about the woman. That's the first thing you notice. So it's like,
well, absolutely.
You know, how she takes care of herself. You know, is she well groomed? You know what I mean? She you know, she got a style. She got a confidence about herself. You know what I mean? But it's not cocky, but it's confident. You know what I mean? And then once you approach her and you start to converse with her, next after that is her personality. What type of person is she? Is she wholesome? You know what I mean? Is she down to earth? Is she relatable? Is she cool? You know what I mean? And then after that, like when you get past that point, then you get to the, like, for me, it's about like where's her spirituality at? Like how does she feel about, you know what I mean, like things outside of the physical. You know what I'm saying? Like, and from there, that's what makes me want to stay. You know what I mean? Because you can see that you can like the first level, like physical about her, right, like a personality, but if her heart and her soul ain't right, then it's like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like,
so give me, I mean, I guess, you know, that is pretty specific when you kind of break it down. Can you give us a little bit of your mentality when it comes to that, Shafeeq?
Yeah, like, I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go, keep going, Rashid. Go ahead, bro.
Now you got it.
So yeah, I think we can agree on that one. It depends on dude to dude, right? Like for me, I was a late bloomer, and I got my little girlfriend in undergrad, and I was like so happy to have a girlfriend. I didn't realize how unhappy I was with her, if that makes sense. And I left that relationship, and I think a lot of dudes, like, that's why a lot of dudes is married to women that in their relationship fucked up sometimes. But that's a whole other, we'll get to that some other time. And so, like, after that, like a lot of dudes, I was bitter about the way that went, because I started reflecting on all the ways in which I was unsatisfied in that relationship, and I took that with me all these different spaces. And for me, what attracted me to my wife is when she so effectively challenged me on that bullshit. And then met me mentally. And like that, because that's really the key ingredient for me is like a person that like, so physical, obviously, but that's a standard, like that's a given. Like I don't think too many dudes are gonna women they're not physically attracted with. Oh, well, you shouldn't. But like, how are those conversations flow? Do you need conversations? You know what I mean? You just need her to rub your shoulders while you smoke, like my man was talking about earlier. Like, it depends on, I believe in love languages. So it really depends on what the dude really needs for him and how that matches up with the lady he's with. Like for me, my thing is acts of service and time. And so like, I like to know that, you know, our relationship functions real reciprocal, whatever that word is. So like, I'm gonna do this, you do that. You do this, I do that. We meet here, we do this, you know, go back and forth. So that's really like to me.
It's reciprocity.
Yeah, to me more than anything is a person that's, I guess, a teammate, and flexible in terms of what positions they can play, and is going to, you know, sharpen you as a man, not placate you, not build your ego up when he really shouldn't be in that spot, and not browbeat you because you're not the dude she thought she was supposed to be when y'all met. Like y'all gotta coach each other. You know what I mean?
Be willing to change. Be willing to change together.
Yeah.
So I know we had this question last week when it came to the women about why women don't give sex. You know what I mean? Why they, you know, I guess why they, this ain't my words, you know what I mean? But why women withhold sex in marriage? And, you know, it was a lot of different answers. So what do y'all have to say about, you know, because this is a big subject when it comes to men too. You know, about how things change when you get married, stuff like that. So, you know, what can y'all express to women about y'all about, you know what I'm saying, how y'all really feel when that kind of thing happens? You know what I mean? Or what is it? How important is it?
Right.
How important is it? Is it? You know, I want to.
You know what I mean? Like some dudes, that's real important. Because that's how they connect with you. You know what I'm saying? That's how they connect with their spouse, you know, physically. And that's legit. That's valid. And some dudes, they just feel they feel like rejected. Like dudes don't want to say that. But like when your wife ain't fucking you, that like the biggest thing in there is that feeling of rejection, that this is a person who I share a house, a name, probably kids with, and she is rejecting my physical, you know, needs. That feels, that's deeper than just I'm horny, I want to fuck. Like that's like, yo, what does that mean about me and us? On the flip side, like I feel like the women were real and spoke some truth when they were talking on the last show, because the only problem I feel like was that I don't think the communication that you got on the show is what's really happening in homes sometimes between man and woman.
Okay.
You know, because I think women will become less attracted to their husbands, you know, and that's why, like, because it's not attraction like you gained some weight. It's attraction like you came in the house and first thing you did was take a nap. You know what I mean? And you woke up and you turned on the game, and like she fell asleep in the bed, and now you rolling over like, all right, it's time. Like, ew. That may work for some women, but for a lot, it ain't gonna work. You know, so it's super complex. I think both men and women need to talk about that shit better and talk about.
That's what we're here for. So, and we'll be back again with all y'all together. So don't worry about that. So give me some concepts from your mind, bro. Rick Sean.
like I think Gwen said it, on the last joint. She said, maybe she wasn't wet, like talking about the gentleman that said he was having an issue, whatever. You know what I mean? That goes back to learning your woman. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes women will withhold sex because they feel like you're not even trying to get them right. You're trying to get yours and be out and be done. You know what I mean? That's not cool. Especially if you're doing that to your wife, that's out of pocket. Because that's the person, like he said, that's the person you sharing your home with, sharing your kids with, the person you value the most from from that standpoint of being your spouse. So it's like learn your woman. You know what I mean? Like we all change with age, we all change with times. Try to keep it spicy. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times, like he said, like some dudes try to roll you over in the middle of the night, or he'll just run up on you just without even like no foreplay or nothing, and just try to do it. You know what I mean? Women get tired of that stuff. Like, and a woman should have to tell you, yo, can we spice it up? Can we do something different? You should already kind of feel like, yo, we've been doing the same thing for a minute now. Let me try to surprise her with something. Let me leave something for her, leave her a note, tell her to meet me over here, and she's wondering what's going on, and then I jump out, hand her some flowers. You know what I mean? Just try to do something different and try to keep it.
So what happened when that don't work for dudes? What happened when that don't work for dudes? Because I've been hearing about that being, that may be a problem sometimes too. You know what I mean? Like give some, tell them how that feels when it don't work. I know you have. I know you did, Shafeeq. You know what I mean? But from your perspective, when it ain't working and you trying your best, you know what I mean? You trying to put in some work, trying to put in some time, trying to be spicy and all of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So what?
Rap, man.
From your I want him. You gave me yours, bro. You gave me yours, but give me a second. I want you, bro, Rashid. You know what I'm saying? What's your perspective?
My thing is like, all right, if we communicating this, for one, if you're trying to get it spicy, you already in your mind like, all right, she's not really. We've been doing the same thing. She ain't really getting the way she used to. Let me try something different. That don't work. You try something else. Let me try something. After you didn't try maybe 2 or 3 different things, then you like, yo, what's up with you? Now it's just trying to have a straight up conversation. What's going on? I'm trying to blah 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 blah. And based off of that conversation, the energy she's giving out, like Feek said, it might be a wrap. If she's in a mindset where she's not even trying to figure this thing out, it's like, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? Because I'm not about wasting time, because you only got one life to live, man. I'm not about wasting any time. So it's like either you with me or you not with me. Like, what are we doing?
So why do you think Shafeeq that most men stay in the city? Because it's a lot that happens like that. So you know what I'm saying? Why do you think that most men or most women stay in a situation like that? Most women stay in a situation like that when they know they ain't already attracted. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? What do you think? What do you think is their thought process when it comes to that? I'm asking you this, even though it's their thought process. I'm asking you this because I want them to know how it comes off to us. You did?
I think people just don't want to face the reality of their new truth as they get older. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Cognitive dissonance.
Right. You meet a dude, y'all get married at, relatively young, in your mid-20s, maybe your late 20s. And after a kid and some career shit, sex may just not mean the same thing to a woman as it does to a man, and vice versa. And so and then it becomes a game of dodgeball, where it's I know, or a person might know, I'm probably never going to satisfy that thing for this man or this woman anymore. And I don't want to face the ramifications of that. Because I saw Duvall, I don't remember the name. His name was Duvall. Him and his wife are Instagram people.
They had
and it was a really dope conversation because he was what came across is that he had a much higher sex drive than his wife did at this stage of their marriage. And he's been faithful and whatever else. And he was basically look, then why is polyamory off the table? And for some people, that might be the solution. If you're not really sexually attracted to this person and you're not really interested in sex with this person, but you want to keep them, that may be the thing, that may be the solution. Or you just might people ain't gotta be married forever, man. This ain't, I don't know. I'm not super religious like that. Or I'm not super religious where I'm spiritual is what I say. I ain't letting a rule in a book dictate the one life I got. You know what I mean? Too many of them at least. And so people ain't gotta be married forever. People can co-parent now better. If y'all both got money, that's a lot easier. And you can go and you can get it. You can get it where you can and have different relationships and connections with people that you need. Because you shouldn't deny yourself what you need as a person because y'all sign this paper. You know what I mean?
So if that's the case, why are we not choosing that off top, choosing the freedom off top? Why are we locking ourselves into situations that we don't want to be in the first place? In your opinion, not we. I'm good, but I'm just asking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like why do people do this? I mean, I understand that, along the lines, things change and you have questions about situations and, and what are you in? Have you attached yourself to something that you can sustain long term? And, things happen during a relationship. But why do you think that people are making such quick decisions? You know what I'm saying? When it comes, because I see a lot of people get married and it's actually, 50%, the divorce rate is 50%. Whether you religious or not. You know what I mean? That's half all marriages. So that means that half of people know, most people know that they go in expecting that if this doesn't work out or if arguments arise or something, that we automatically have a way out. Why do you think that people are getting themselves into situations so quick like this, either way it goes, without actually hashing out everything that they actually want? When it's a time that's you can do whatever you want to in this time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why do you think people are still holding themselves to values that they don't even believe off top?
Right. I think you can't predict the future, right? Like, I didn't know I was going to be the man I am today when I got married. And I didn't know my wife was going to be the woman she is today when we got married. I knew she had all the features I wanted in a wife at that moment. But, like, when we got married, I didn't know that what our mid-30s was going to look like. I just knew what our early 20s looked like and what our current situation looked like. And it's by the blessings of God that we are still very well in our partnership. And some folks, though, that don't happen, they grow apart. And, maybe you said divorce rate 50%, it might need to be 70%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was an old stat.
Right. People say, oh, marriage is decreasing. Like, is that a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like marriage is just, to me, marriage is a ceremony and a contract and some legal definition. Your partnership is why you stick with that person. And so everything else that don't define that partnership is an accessory. And so if that partnership starts to break down and you can't fix it, and for the sake of your personhood and maybe even your children, because the statistics show if y'all fighting in the house all the time, y'all not doing the children no favors by staying together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if that partnership starts to dissolve, whether it's sex or money or something else, then dissolve that partnership. Go separate ways on that bad boy and be happier. You can be a better parent to co-parent when you're happy. You don't have to do some bitterness, but it's gonna be less than the bitterness of like being in bed. Like you ever been in bed with somebody you don't like? We all have felt that. Ain't nothing worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know.
No, I mean I understand. Okay, so I ended the last one on this subject. I got to go this time. So this was a lot more. I had somebody I really wanted to have on tonight that was gonna bring a totally different perspective. From more of a masculine point of view. Y'all was pretty kind to the ladies, even though y'all, y'all was pretty kind. I wasn't really expecting that too much, but
we didn't get to the the hardcore gritty yet. That's why
So what's the hardcore gritty? What I'm missing? You know what I mean? What I'm missing? What y'all really want to get off your chest? That's what I'm here for. I want a response to last week, to be honest. What's the issues that you had with it?
My thing is like I said, like it just can't, like the one, like you said, like Gwen was okay, but the other lady, she was real, I want to say it was almost like kind of cocky, like with the way she was coming off with it. And it's like it has to be a certain level of humbleness. You know what I'm saying? Like from a woman's standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you're competing with so many other women. I'm not even just talking about like you're not just competing with other black women that got it going. You're compete.
I think you got them switched. I think you got them. Gwen was the one with the money thing. Chaundra was the other one. So which one you talking about?
So that's what I meant. Yeah, like so it's like like it's just like you're competing with so many other women. It's like, how are you this like abrasive? Like it's got to be A, B, C, D. But it's like, once again, what do you have to show for this guy that you want to be this way? Because you can, like you said, you can't, like you were saying earlier, like you were trying to be nice about it, but it's like, if she's a B plus, you can't want an A plus dude and think he just would take you with your B plusness when there's another A plus woman walking around that's on his level. You know what I mean? If you a B plus, go get a B plus guy. It's gonna cause less problems. It's gonna cause less problems. And he's more or less likely probably to cheat on you because he's a B plus and you're a B plus. Because if he's an A plus, he's gonna be in areas that he's gonna eventually run into other A plus women that he's gonna see. And what you think is gonna happen? Just because you're a B plus and you're being faithful and you're doing pretty much everything you think you're supposed to be doing right, that everything's gonna be cool, it's probably not. So it's like, I'm not saying lower your standards, I'm saying evaluate where you are and get that evaluation. Don't evaluate where you want to go to and you want the guy that's where you want to go to. Where are you right now? And go get the guy that's where you are right now. And when y'all talk to each other, if you guys have the same goals of going to a higher place, then that's the person you pick. You don't pick the guy that's where you want to end up at, because that's the guy that's probably going to cheat. And I'm just trying to be real with the ladies. I'm trying to keep it just blunt. You know what I mean? Like you hear a lot of these women that be dating professional athletes and they date these rich guys, they're miserable. You see them all the time on the reality shows, they're miserable. Because a lot of times those guys were, I guess, in her opinion, an A plus guy, but where you were from, you were not an A plus woman to him. So that's why he kept doing what he was doing. Even though you got all this money, all this clothes, jewelry, she's miserable. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta evaluate where you are as a woman and go get the guy where you're at. Like stop, like not saying you can't shoot, but it's like get the guy that's where you at that's trying to shoot where you trying to shoot. So y'all get there together. That's all I'm saying.
So I'll throw some academic perspective on that, and then a little bit of my own personal bullshit on it. So like when we talk about gender, period, in this country, really throughout like history, it's a hierarchy, right? And the reality is that men, especially now where, you know, the irony is that monogamy actually does women a disservice in kind of what Rick Sean is talking about, like get your man on your level. Like you can either get your man on your level, or you can share a man that's better than what better than that, but you might have to share him with another woman. And like some women are open to that, you know? And I think what's important, so going back, because we got this hierarchical thinking in our head, most of it comes from white supremacy. Of like, I gotta get a man at this level that has these things, that's like how a lot of women were raised for generations. You know, that's why women wear lipstick and heels. You know, now we got, waist trainers and, I ain't shaved in 3-4 months. I can't even hardly grow. This is the best beard I never got, you know what I'm saying? But I'll be all right as a man because the standards of my looks are not as integral to my value as a man. Whereas for women, so much of their value is tied up in how much they can compete for certain dudes. And that kind of gets both of us fucked up in the game because I don't want women to not be happy with their mate, but I also want them to evaluate what that happiness truly looks like so they can pursue what's best for them. Because I try not to tell black women what to do too tough anyway. But if you go back to if you look at the wild, we got a lot of lion imagery among black folks. We talk about men as lions. I want a lion. Lions are non-monogamous. You got the alpha lion. I don't always believe in the alpha male concept, but in some parts of nature, it's true. The lion that's the alpha, he gets to have sex with whatever woman he wants. Point blank, period. That's how it works in nature. And so, and there's no such thing as him being monogamous to just the baddest lioness in the jungle. No, he got the baddest lioness in the jungle and her cousins. That's how it works in nature. So, like, if you are operating off of that mindset, you always gonna run into challenges from dudes that either meet that standard but don't value you because they have so many options, or dudes that don't meet that standard and now there's conflict because maybe he feels like he should be treated like that same lion and he not, or you feel like he needs to do better, or just all the things that come up that I'm happy I don't personally have to deal with. But to try to bring this full circle, because I know I'm rambling on this bad boy, make sure, try to be thoughtful about the type of man you're engaging with and what to truly expect from that person. And then think about, where are you in life? If you are, looking for men who are not going to be good for you because you're not in a space where they're going to value you. You know what I mean? And so if you're in a space where a man is not going to value you, you need to stay away from that man, and vice versa.
Absolutely. So I like to end both of these conversations with, last week I had the women do it the same way. So I want y'all to give y'all a perspective to women and tell them, you know what I mean, tell our black women that we love them, and also let them know why you love them. You know what I mean? I think that, I want them to understand the roles that they really play in our lives, how we see them. You understand? So if both of y'all can just give me a little, just give me a little bit for the ladies to let them know, first of all, tell them you love them, because, if let them know that, so they know that we really do. And then, tell them why. Rick, Sean?
Yeah, listen, sisters, I love y'all, and it's coming from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Because without y'all, we wouldn't even be here, first of all, as men, period. You know what I mean? Like, me personally, like when one of the strongest people in my life was my grandma, you know what I mean, who was a black woman. She taught me everything about integrity, about class, about even things down to how to manage my life, like on a personal level and on a professional level when I get to that point. So, I mean, I just want y'all to understand that you guys are loved and you are protected out here. Like, I can't speak for every single body, but where I'm at, where I'm moving around, you're protected. You know what I mean? Like you will never be disrespected in my presence, ever. I'll never allow anyone to try to disrespect you in my presence. So from my perspective, I always got love for y'all, and I will always have love for y'all, because without y'all, we wouldn't even be here as people or as humans, period. Because the black people were the first people, the first mothers were black mothers.
Shafeeq?
Ooh, bruh. I love black women. I was raised by a single mom. I lost my aunt over the weekend, and just the black women in my life are invaluable. And one of the things that I think the men need to hear is that we need to shift our focus from them. If we really love black women, we need to shift our focus from them and how we got problems with them to us. Because we lagging behind right now, brothers. We just are. Like, I know some brothers out there don't feel like that. They end up with some trash ladies. I get it. I'm not saying every woman is perfect, but like, I was watching the video and I had to cut it off for a second. I was watching you last week. The woman brought up Meg Thee Stallion and was like, dudes thought it was funny and was like defending Tory Lanez for shooting her in the foot. And I'm like, yeah, that's trash. And like, dudes like, well, we don't know the full story. I'm like, what version of that story can come through that'll make you change your opinion? I don't know. Cause like, I feel like the women, like, I feel like a lot of men.
He about to say some shit.
No, wait, no, listen, I feel what he's saying completely, because like when I first heard that situation, I thought it was trash, for one, because I'm like, I never, like, unless the woman has a weapon in her hand, there's no reason to ever shoot a female, period. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but my thing is like, I can understand maybe he might have felt threatened, maybe he might have been scared, because he is like 5'6" and she's like 5'10". You know what I mean? Because you gotta keep it real. Like, you gotta keep, like, if he called the police and was like, yo, she's beating the shit out of me, excuse my language, cop shows up and he sees him and sees her, he might be liable to believe that because she's bigger than him by a lot. But at the end of the day, to me, just from my perspective, just from the outside looking in, she doesn't seem like the type of person that would try to threaten you in a way where you need to pull out a gun and shoot You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
we won't go into this whole thing really clears up, but the whole thing to me is just weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was a
but
weird
here go
ass
the thing
situation.
though. It's not just like that situation, right? That situation could be different than how we understand it to be. I'm gonna leave myself open to that
Absolutely,
possibility.
absolutely.
But the major key though is that some dudes are so bitter with women that they'll take any opportunity they can find to fuck with black women. Any opportunity
Yeah,
they can find to fuck with them.
yeah,
And it does happen vice versa, you know,
yeah.
but we
It
can only
does.
control
It does.
A lot
where
more
we
than you
are,
think.
and we gotta recognize that they ain't killing us like we killing them, brothers. Ain't too many of us messing with a Megan Stallion that's got 6 inches and 50 pounds on us. Like so the women be like it get me emotional sometimes because like I be seeing the women down as like dogs and I be wanting to defend and like get angry whatever. But then like every other week I see a story about some punk ass nigga killing his girlfriend because she made him mad. You know what I'm saying? Or because she broke up with him. You know, and it's like that's a us problem that we got to really engage with. Like we never going to solve the issues. And I know the people in the chat. I looked at y'all mad. Y'all tired of me talking about white supremacy. But like we ain't never going to fix the problems that both of us deal with as men and women if we don't get on a accord and recognize that there's issues between us that we have to solve internally. Not like I need you to fix this. I need black women. I need y'all to fix this so I can be right. Like no. Like I'm
like
over
I
here
said
getting right.
last week. Like I said last week, it's conversations that we got to have in house, and we can't be putting each other on blast about our vulnerabilities, and we got to protect our black women in that aspect, just like they got to protect us. You know what I mean? And I wanted to have this conversation with y'all. So we can start, so we can start having this conversation more with each other, you know what I mean, addressing these issues. So y'all know I am going to do an interview with the men and the women, so we can come back and actually address each other with everything that we saying. And I think I'm going to end up doing that next Tuesday. So if y'all down to come back next Tuesday, I had the women come back. And then, y'all can discuss everything and we can move it like that. First of all, black women, every black woman that know me know I love y'all to death, man. Y'all the bee's knees to me, man. You know what I mean? I was raised by black women. Wives of black women, daughters of black women. Got aunties that are black women. Y'all are the tree that bear the fruit for me. We can plant any kind of seed, but y'all are the tree that bear the fruit. Y'all handle a lot of the responsibilities when it comes to nurturing, and y'all even nurture us. Y'all challenge us in ways that really make us better if we really step up as men and see it that way. That's just my perspective. A lot of men don't see it that way. Any challenge from a woman to me is a challenge. It ain't necessarily a threat to me. So, and with men, I'm trying to, I got a soapbox about this thing, man. I'm about us taking our place as, if that's what we're gonna call ourselves, is leaders. Then taking our place as leaders mean that you can't blame your followers for your leading. So that being said, if you're gonna say that you're an alpha male and you're gonna say that you all of this, then let's act like it. You know what I mean? A woman can't be to blame for all your problems because you the leader. Just like with any coach and then every man that respects sports should understand this. If your team doing bad and you the coach, you fired. They're going to keep the most talented players that they got on the team. You fired. So I know a lot of men be mad at me when I got a lot of backlash last week about me, letting women off about what they say. First of all, these are interviews to give you their perspective and not mine. And I wanted to present two different women that had two different perspectives so you men understand that it's still basic principles and core principles that every man wants. And they told you what it was. They want to feel protected. They want to feel like you got their back and everything like that. With these men, we want to be respected. We want to be understood. You know what I mean? Even if you don't understand us, just give us a little bit of leeway without coming down on us all the time. Don't make us what we ain't. Don't be mad at us because we ain't what you want us to be. If that's the case, then just leave us alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, so that's all I really want to say, man. I appreciate y'all gentlemen for coming on. And like I said, if y'all want to get together again next Tuesday, let's do it.
No doubt.
I love y'all black women, and y'all stay tuned for the next episodes.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yo, I appreciate y'all.
All right.
All right, we out.